All right, let's talk Gillette, and they've got a new ad here, and it's challenging toxic masculinity and sexual harassment that plays on their slogan, you know, Gillette, the best a man can get. Everybody knows that catchy phrase. Well, here's part of their new slogan. Take a look.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
We believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing, because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
The best a man can get. Now, the hashtag now is the best a man can be, going along with this new slogan, a new approach. I happen to love this as a man, challenging us to be better, because in a lot of ways we are failing, especially our women in today's society. But as women, how do you guys react to this one?
I feel like our voices are starting to be heard, and I feel hopeful for the change and the movement that's happening right now. So often we talked about what women need to do and how they need to carry themselves differently, how women need to speak up more and they need to be strong and they need to wear certain clothes. But this conversation of women's equality, it doesn't include men enough times. Yeah. And so I feel like this is exactly what this article is doing. It's including the men in the conversation. And in order for us to ever have any true progress, like it's going to take society as a whole to change.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know that a razor ad is going to cure toxic masculinity, but I feel like it's a really good start. And I think their message is we need to teach these young boys how to treat women and how to be in the future. And if you see bullying or you see violence, like push them away from that, because these are the men of the future. There's actually a lot of backlash about this ad. There's men's right activists that are saying they're going to throw their razors in the trash. Yeah, just going through the YouTube comments, because it was uploaded to YouTube, everyone is just hating on this, and I think that shows how far we still have to go. But I love that this ad happened and that they're targeting this message to men, because it's not just women that can cause the problem, like you said, Felicia.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because it's a male product, obviously, you know, and it's challenging men to be better, and that's always a slippery slope as you look at it in the potential consumer. Is that going to drive men away from it because they're in denial and think they don't need to change and don't see a problem with where the world is? Although that'd be very problematic if that's their viewpoint. However, I do think this is a very challenging move from Gillette. Now we'll see how the numbers bear out, much like Nike when they took the stance they did standing alongside Kaepernick, and it ended up allowing business to boom for them. So,
and don't you love that they would put their potential profit on the line to get a message that's so important across? And
now a lot of people said that Nike understood what the bottom line would be on this one, and that they had a heavily liberal and minority consumer, and they knew what they were doing here. And I wonder if Gillette maybe sees a benefit here. You don't know. You hope that's not the case, but maybe they're assuming that the men aren't the ones who are actually going shopping to buy the products. I don't know here. Interesting play to see what's going to happen there, but either way, I love it. It's challenging men to be better, and it's very thought-provoking.
More of this, please.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Frontier Airlines, everybody, they've announced that flight attendants, they're going to be accepting individual tips. Individual tips. Well, we should, I guess the question is, should we consider them servers, which would then make sense for them to be getting tips, because they are waiting on you. They're serving you food, they're serving you drinks. You can hit that light and they come a calling. But what about their role with in-flight safety since 9/11 too? That plays a role. So other airlines policies like United Airlines are against it. Delta, Southwest, they discourage tipping, but leave it up to the discretion of the attendant. Do you guys like this? Should this be a necessary thing, much like going to order a hamburger?
I mean, it's not a necessary thing, but I have no problem tipping someone if I'm buying a drink. It's funny that Frontier is the one starting this, because they're
taking money from you everywhere.
More of a budget airline. Yeah, it's kind of like Spirit, where you're like, you pay for your soda and if you want to tip the person. But I mean, we're prompted to tip with every like iPad screen if we're buying something at Panera or whatever like counter service place where the person isn't really doing that much work to give us the food. We still are asked if we want to tip. So I have no problem tipping tipping them. I mean, they're working hard. Those are kind of, I know a lot of people think of flight attendants, this is like a dream job. I think that's actually a pretty tough job, to be like squeezed into those small conditions and scooping up everyone's trash, and just, you're dealing with all different personality types, and I have no problem tipping someone.
Yeah,
if they
I feel
need
like
it.
the serving part is probably the minor part of their job.
Yeah.
These days, you know, we get these news stories every once in a while of this person that flipped out on a plane, or, you know, the fact that with all of our safety concerns these days, you know, you get every once in a while you hear these random stories of someone just going crazy. Like, when you're up there in the air, those flight attendants, they run the ship. They are responsible,
So you think they
directly
deserve a tip?
responsible for our lives. I will not be tipping.
Yeah, good.
So here's the thing.
I love all that.
I feel like I pay so much for this, for their service and everything. Like, let's talk about tipping. So servers, they make $4.95 an hour here in Illinois. $4.95.
It's a lot more than I made when I was a server.
That's the purpose of tipping.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of tipping. And so, well, you're in a different state. But, like, that's the point of tipping, is to compensate for that. Here, I know I pay so much for my plane tickets.
Yeah.
Anywhere from $200-300, that would be super cheap, you know, and you could pay over $1,000 for a plane ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not shoveling out any more money. They have money. They need to pay them
like
more.
$1 for a drink, $1, I feel like it would make their day so much
here's
better.
why. Here's why
What is
these.
$1
Here's why
gonna
these
do?
flight attendants, girl, boy, bye. They get to fly wherever they want for free. They can go to Paris. They can go to Africa. They can go to tropical places for free with their travel. And you know what else they get to do?
Collect your trash.
That waiters don't get to do? No, they get buddy passes, meaning they can bring their friend along and they can travel too. That's better than any tip somebody at Fuddruckers is going to get, somebody at Fridays is going to get. I ain't trying to hear it on this one. No tip. Don't even consider it. You've taken enough of our money. It ain't going to happen.
Well, if we're sitting in a row, you serve me first, because I'm going to give you a tip.
I ain't giving you anything. You can keep
Jordan
that
can sleep
contaminated
through it.
water on the airplane.